5. Good evening, Canby. Welcome to the Canby City Council regular meeting for April 15th, 2015. If you will please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Lord, thank you so very much for the beautiful weather and this great place that we call Canby. Thank you for everyone that is gathered here this evening and those that are at home. Please guide our leadership here up front. Provide us wisdom and discernment. Please keep our men and women that are in service, both here and abroad, safe and sound. We thank you for the men and women that have recently returned from the Middle East, many of them from here in Canby. You've brought them home safely, and for that we are very grateful. We ask for these things in your Son's name. Amen. Amen. Pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. Thank you. Before we get into communications, just to give you everyone here and at home an update, we did start our evening a little bit earlier this evening. We had two work sessions this evening. The first one, we did a work session review of some expressions of interest for the development of this downtown block. And it was some great things were shared and some great conversation. And so we're very, very excited about the things that are being discussed and being proposed for this very block once the city has completed its new civic building and we are off of it. There's some really, really great things coming. And so I want to thank Renata, who's out there, and everyone really on staff for just tremendous work on this, and it's going to be some really exciting things. So stay tuned over the next month, we'll start to see some more things. And then we had third quarter financial update from our finance director, Haley Fish. So that was our work sessions this evening. So we'll move into communications and start with over here on the right. I'm talking communications this evening, sir.
Oh, anything? No, I'm fine.
You're good? Joe, anything?
No, thank you.
All right.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Caught you. Just kidding. First opportunity this evening for citizen input and community announcements on non-agenda items. So if you are so inclined and would like to address us, there are these wonderful yellow cards there by Mr. Jeske. If you would hold them up, sir. There you go, crowd participation. Fill them out, bring them over here to Kim, and we'll give you an opportunity. The first person is Lee and Kim Wygan. If you guys would like to come up, they want to talk to us about God and prayer.
It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Hello, you guys. How are you?
We are good. We are happily married for 334 days, 6 hours,
There it is.
34 minutes, and 35 seconds to be exact. And that's a good thing.
That's great.
We periodically come and visit with you, and we just want to say we really appreciate all that you do for our city. We know you don't do it for the big money, and we just appreciate your service. And we also commit to pray for you on a weekly basis. And we gather together with a group of men and women every Tuesday night, and we pray for you personally by name. And so we're handing out some cards, and some of them are ones that we've been praying for you about already. And on the back of it, we initial it, and those are the individuals that have been praying for you. If you haven't had a card, we'd like you to fill a card out. They're really pretty orange. I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but that's what they are. And just fill out some things that we can be praying for you personally or as the administration in your positions. And we will take them back. Give them back to your city recorder, and we'll pick it back up from her in the next few days. And we just want to pray for you. God tells us to pray for those that have the rule of authority over you. And you have decisions to make, and some major decisions coming up. And we appreciate what you're doing. Also coming up in the near future is the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast on the National Day of Prayer on May 7th. And you have a flyer in front of you in regards to that. And our wonderful mayor is going to come and share. Our state senator is going to come and share. And tell us how we can be praying for the city, the state, and we'll be spending some time praying. And we want you all to be welcome to come and join us for breakfast that morning also at 6:30 in the morning at Cuts Forest Thriftway Town Hall. And so we'd love to have you come join us if you can. And the third thing on the agenda is we have not met Rick Robinson. Is that correct?
City administrator, yes.
Yes. But we had heard that there was some issues with family down in California. We've been praying for you faithfully for the last couple of months. And so if you have things you'd like us to be praying for about your family situation there, we'd love to continue to do that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
All right.
it.
And so we just thank you again for what you do. And if you ever think about exempting churches from the city maintenance fee, we'd love to hear it, but no pressure whatsoever. And so once again, thank you for what you do. Keep up the good work, and we will do our part, and we'll support you in prayer. Okay? Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
before you leave, I did want to offer a special thanks. Often I don't have enough time, it seems, to always focus on the spiritual element as I should, but I still have your card from last year, and it's on my desk in front of me at home every day, and I'm looking at it, and it provides some strength. So I now will replace it with this, so thanks very much.
We've got city council members keep it in their folders for months and months and months and months. And so we appreciate what you do, and God does too. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Kim. Great. Haley Fish, our finance director, with something I think she needs to share with everyone.
Yes.
Hi, Haley.
Hi. So I just wanted to take a moment, as I shared at the financial status report today, we were notified today by the Government Finance Officers Association that the City of Canby and the Finance Department received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This is a national award. It's the highest level of financial excellence award that you can get. And I want to personally thank my staff, Susan Duffy, Sharon Trammell, Judy Christensen, and Lisa Potter for all of their hard work in helping create this wonderful report, which is published on the city finance webpage that you can see. So it's for the comprehensive annual financial report as of June 30th, 2014. So it's a big accomplishment, and I just wanted to share that and thank them for their hard work.
And how long has it been since we've been awarded this?
So the city has not received this award since 2009, and this is the first time that the city's received the award where city staff and not the contracted auditors have prepared the annual report. So it's a pretty big accomplishment.
I would say it's a huge accomplishment, Haley.
Yeah.
And as we said in the work session, I'll say it again here, thank you. You and your team have done an amazing job and continue to provide such incremental progress for us on the financial reporting and the things that we need to do to be able to help do our job, but as well just keep things moving and on track. So extend our thank yous to your team, please, because it's a lot of work. It's not easy, and we appreciate it very, very much.
Haley will also receive a plaque in near term, and I've asked her to schedule a time during the meeting itself that she can explain to you in a little bit more detail what goes into qualifying and being qualifying for this award and being recognized for this award, because it's a lot more than she's let you know. It's really an extraordinary accomplishment, and I have to compliment Haley as the finance leader and her staff for the work that they've done. But I look forward to hearing a little bit more about this at a scheduled time.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
Good job. All right. Seeing no other yellow cards, we'll move into mayor's business. Kind of a laundry list here for everyone. Let you know on the C4 front, so the Clackamas County Coordinating Committee, we have a retreat coming up here, the committee does, here in June. I think myself and I think Councilor Hensley will probably be attending the retreat. Much of the tentative agenda items are things talking about transportation and road maintenance, the current county situation, and as well as kind of the enhancement and maintenance pieces that they are looking to do. Land use is a big topic right now in the county. They also want to look at talking about 5, 10, and 15-year goals for the county, as well as if cities want to share and what they're doing. And then also tentatively on the agenda is the new conversation about the new act, so the Area Commission on Transportation. So that piece, and then C4 becoming a much more, there's talk and discussion of maybe possibly wanting to be more than just an advisory role, but actually be an action-oriented group and formally vote upon and write the direction and opinion coming from the committee to the Board of County Commissioners. So as you can imagine, it's not sitting very well with a couple of the county commissioners, but we'll see how that goes. So it should be an interesting retreat. We also discussed and voted on members that will make up the delegation from the coordinating committee to make up to represent the county at the Area Commission on Transportation. So I'll just kind of run those. So that there's 7 positions. Seven positions. Julie Willing, our Julie Willing, will represent rural transit on the commission. On the act. The urban representation will be represented by Mayor Dreamer from Happy Valley. The rural representation will be me on the act. Rural stakeholder will be Bill Merchant. The business stakeholder will be Avison of Avison Lumber in Molalla. The urban stakeholder will be Jeff Goodman from Lake Oswego City Council. And then the county commissioner that will tie it all together will be Commissioner Savas. So there'll be some things coming up more on that as we get into funding and whatnot. Renata our economic development manager, has done a great job with what we call our quick response team. So we had a meeting just last week, and what that team is just what is it, like 15 of us on that team, but it's basically like Renata, myself, and Rick, and Mallory Gwynn from the chamber, and the police chief, and Trig from the school district. So it's basically a team that comes together if a business is coming to town, that we pull together and basically give a quick 30-second, not 3-minute, elevator speech on why they should move their business to Canby. So the idea is that group stays up to date on what's going on, and so we since we had a number of changes in the group, we met. We also kind of discussed our upcoming meeting with the business recruiter that we'll all get the opportunity here to meet with here in a couple weeks. And then we got an update on the Elm and First Avenue project. So it sounds like ink is dried on, land has been purchased, and so that's another project that seems to be coming along and gaining some excitement here in Canby. So there is a lot going on, so buckle up. Here we go. Last night was another community meeting regarding our civic building design. We will be showing you that later this evening at the Urban Renewal Agency meeting, which follows here. All right, that is on our agenda. Thank you. Good, I wasn't reading that incorrectly. We also, last week, did a tour of some property as a possible donation to Canby that would extend the logging trail from Southwest 13th, almost where I'm looking for Matilda for it, 4 miles. And it's beautiful stretch, and that could be a really big piece in terms of us trying to connect and reestablish the logging trail connection to Molalla and for biking and walking and all sorts of fun things. So it was a great piece to go out and take a look at. Just for the council's radar, a couple of things that are going to be coming your direction, possibly ordinance resolution piece being worked on and brought to us regarding a position on terms of or a position on and resource commitment around recent legislation at the state on the Second Amendment as it relates to firearm registration and other upcoming bills. So that's going to be something that is coming our way. And then also a discussion and code cleanup. Joe, is there a code cleanup regarding the paraphernalia?
Yes,
Code.
either it'll be amending.
Okay. So with the legalization to allow recreational marijuana use, we've got some pieces we need to clean up for our, at least from a policy standpoint, for our police department in the direction we want to be able to send them in. So those are things that are going to be coming our direction in the very short, near future. And last but not least, today I had the opportunity to spend some time with the third graders at Trost Elementary. They're doing their module on the Canby community, and so I got to spend an hour with a number of third graders, and they are a lively bunch. And it was a very quick hour. I think they could have asked me questions for another hour afterwards. I got questions like, do I like being mayor? Will Canby have a community college someday? They asked, I know, that was a good question. Yes, they asked if we were going to have a hospital anytime soon. Just really very thoughtful questions. That was, yeah. And they asked about, laws that we pass. So I explained some of how that works. And, it was good because, I understand about that much, so they now understand about as much as I do. They asked about new buildings. I was pleased to tell them about the new civic building and the library, and they were ecstatic about the new library. And I asked them, so how many of you have been to the current one? And all hands go up. And I said, well, the new one's going to be twice as big. And they were just floored. So we have third graders at Trost excited about our new project. So Melissa, some new library card holders coming your way. So that concludes my business, and we're going to start that end down there with Clint tonight.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome, sir.
On the municipal oversight front, I just also like to commend Haley Fish. She oversees everything we do and does a fabulous job. Each member over the last few weeks has had a chance to review 4 different proposals from 4 different audit firms, kind of evaluating them. We've identified the top 3, and over the next 10 days we'll be interviewing the top 3 and coming up with a recommendation. Since we last got together, I attended the St. Paul Rodeo Coronation and got to escort our Canby Rodeo Queen up during introductions. There was about 250 people in attendance, and Miss Rodeo Oregon was there. On the traffic safety front, just my 2 cents, Bob Backstrom and I had a chance to visit the construction site this past Friday in front of the high school. And it's really coming along quite well. It's probably a few weeks away from, maybe a week or 2 away from being completed. But Jerry Nelzine from Public Works, he gave us a tour of what's going on, and got some new sidewalks, some LED lighting, and a really clever crosswalk that the high school design team got to design, which includes some cougar paws in the crosswalk. It's really, really slick, and so that's going to be exciting when that gets completed. I attended both of the library planning meetings. I like the process that the architect has gone through in gathering community input and building it into their planning. I'm excited about the project. Also attended the logging trail tour. And I attended the Planning Commission meeting. They welcomed new Commissioner Chris Rocha, so that's excellently heard. And also, we need to give a big thank you to Tyler Smith, who has chaired the Planning Commission for quite a number of years. And with his background as an attorney, really brings a tremendous amount of knowledge there. He's going to stay on as a counselor, but stepping down from chair. They appointed John Savory as the new chair and Sean Hensley as the co-chair. So thank you all very much for your hard work. There's a lot of exciting things going on. We have a great team on the planning and doing a great job. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you, sir. Councilor Hyde.
Hello. So I attended the Traffic Safety Committee out of curiosity as well a couple weeks ago, and it was interesting to get to know who's on the committee and what they're up to, and so I enjoyed that. I took a grant writing class. It was a day-long thing from the League of Oregon Cities a couple weeks ago, and that was helpful. It was eye-opening to kind of get a sense for what goes on in the grant writing world. So that's helpful, I think, as the Library Foundation, is gearing up to do some fundraising. I can speak the language a little bit maybe, and maybe even help out. We'll see. At the chamber luncheon, Tony Gonzalez of the director of CTV5 presented. It was interesting to hear what they're up to. They're up to a lot, and so it was good to hear that last week. The Canby Adult Center, their Spring Bazaar is coming up April 25th. They had their big bridge tournament last Saturday, which was well attended, and apparently people from neighboring communities come out because there aren't too many of these types of tournaments around. So we've got other citizens from other neighboring countries, cities, not countries, coming to that. And just an interesting tidbit about Canby Adult Center, they're in a unique position in that they don't own the school district owns the land and the city owns the building, and that's unusual for an adult center. And so it just puts them in an interesting position of, they get along very well with everybody, but they're in a unique position in Canby. I just thought I'd mention that. Library, I went to the input meetings as well, and we'll hear more soon. But I'm excited. The architects, they understand Canby very well. They're hearing us out. There's a lot of excitement on the social media and everywhere else. People are excited about this new library, so yay for that. I toured actually the fire department with Chief Davis last week, and that was really interesting. I was so excited to learn about what goes on there. And I learned that the district's been around since 1947. That was new to me. I could give you guys a pop quiz on this, right? Ha ha. 80% of their business is ambulance transport, and a fair amount, I think 20% of that is Hope Village calls. About 15 firefighters are on staff, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, 5 per shift. There's 22 active volunteers, which I find amazing and fantastic. And yeah, as we, I think, know, they're levy funded, and about every 5 years they propose a levy. So yeah, very interesting to learn about that. The Logging Road Tour, I had the honor of going on that with some of you guys, and that was beautiful and very exciting for Canby potentially. And then this is National Appreciation Week and National Library Week this week, which is kind of interesting. So if you have library fines, you can bring $1 and they will waive fines. Or no, you bring a can of food and that will waive $1 worth of fines, right? And I think I have about $8 worth of fines myself, so I might be coming in soon this week. And then on Saturday, the library had a nice library volunteer appreciation event. It was cake and punch, and then the music and the Stacks group. Who was it? Two sisters and a mister performed, and it was fun. It was a good time, as always. And then this little promotion, April 30th, the family evening is Rockin' It with Mo Phillips. Apparently it's a high-energy show, and it encourages dancing, laughing, singing, twirling, and straight-up rocking out. That's what the flyer says. So if you want to rock out at the library, come on, April 30th. Yeah. All right. That's all I've got.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Council President Dale.
Mr. Mayor, likewise went on the logging trail tour. I also, in the touring spirit, toured Canby's newest home under construction, and the mayor caught me doing that.
I was just looking to make sure there's no riffraff.
And there was.
Yeah.
But that's out at the Dinsmore Estates off of Southeast 13th, Canby's newest development that has an actual home on it. That's coming together. It'll be their model home. Come out and see it. It's going to be a good-looking development.
It is.
It's really nice. On the Canby utility front, the general manager recruitment process continues. They're also beginning to look at water rate increases for this year. And the mayor and Chairman Cornelius and I are actively interviewing applicants for a board position there that has come vacant. On the urban renewal front, we'll talk a lot about that in the next meeting coming up immediately following. A lot of activity, a lot of really good news and encouraging news there. And then finally, on a personal note, Canby, we call ourselves the Garden Spot, but right now in mid-April, we are Dogwood City. This is Canby's 2 weeks where we really shine, and you will not find a denser, more beautiful collection of dogwoods, I don't think, anywhere, especially on the north side of town. So walk around, bike around. I took my daughters on a bike tour of North Canby. Drive your cars around now. Canby is at its best, and it's really a very beautiful sight to behold. Makes you glad to live here in such a beautiful area. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, I would echo that. And then if you've not been on First and seen the tulips in each of the squares down there, it really makes First Avenue really pop, and it looks really great. And if you could please refrain from cutting those just yet, just leave them there for a little bit longer. We, the city, would greatly appreciate that. Thanks. Thanks, Leslie.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I will actually start with the Main Street Design meeting that I went to today, only because you mentioned the dogwoods, and there was a proposal that we rename Canby the Garden Spot to Pink Dogwood, and it was shot down nicely because we enjoyed the gentleman who brought it up, right, Clint? But we had a lengthy discussion about the dogwoods this afternoon as well. So, on the Traffic Safety Commission, Councilor Coleman already talked about the high school crosswalk project. The only thing that I will add is that it is about complete, and they're going to reopen the road as scheduled. So that was a little point of concern with some folks about having the road closed. So rest assured, it is soon to be open. The Birch Street traffic calming, unfortunately, is not going to be funded this year. We had some other projects that needed to take priority, but it isn't off the table. It's just being pushed out a little bit, so those things will be taken care of next year. The North Redwood parking solution discussion continues. Recommendation should be coming to the council in the coming weeks, but there's still some discussion to be had around that issue. We had a downtown business owner come in and talk about congestion at First and Ivy and how it's blocking that intersection. So there will be some signage, if it's not already installed, it should be soon. It's asking folks to not block. It's kind of like what's over there by the fairgrounds and the train depot there, the Depot Museum. And finally, on the traffic safety, we had a neighbor who came in from South Locust and had an issue with speeders in his neighborhood. And it's nice that we're gotten to a point with the Traffic Safety Commission that there's a process in place, and there's a petition process and everything that we could point him to. So he's going to be getting started on that as he's requesting some traffic calming in his neighborhood. I likewise attended the Chamber Luncheon and the Civic Building meetings. The Canby's Big Night Out meeting was last week. That event is coming together nicely. We'll be seeing some promotion materials coming out soon for that. And I have the CTV5 board meeting tomorrow. And finally, I just want to extend a heartfelt thank you and a welcome home to the Oregon Army National Guard 182 Cavalry Squadron. It's near and dear to my heart. Welcome home, Ron. We love you. That's all.
Thank you. Councilor Parker.
Well, I wasn't here last meeting. I was in Atlanta, and Atlanta, like my last impression 10 years ago, was Atlanta. But the Main Street Conference this year was the best one yet. It has turned much more into a research-based organization that's driven less by theory and more by what is working out there and how communities can monetize their downtown. So we've got a tight schedule tonight, so I'll hold off on a full discussion. I also have a couple proposals that I want to talk with the mayor about to bring before the council. So at a time when that's appropriate, I'll do that. Okay. Also, Chris, thank you for stepping forward to the Planning Commission. You will find out how true it is what I've been saying, that the hardest working committee in the city is the Planning Commission, more so than this body. Yeah. And over the next 2 years, the amount of workload that is going to go through there, given the type of development we're going to have, is just going to be immense. So it deserves our thanks and our support. And then finally, kind of a funny little thing I shared with a couple of counselors that with the weather getting better, I've been doing more walking around, and my walk always takes me through Wade Park. And I am just so thrilled by the amount of use that it gets. There's a local Tai Chi school that does its lessons out there, and there was a rather modest, informal hot dog dinner there last week, and I came over and talked to the folks, and it was a local AA group. And I said, I just think it's great that our parks are being used this way. And a thank you to our city staff. The organizer was being sort of self-deprecating about how he's not a very good organizer of his group. He said, yeah, even somebody like me was able to fill out the form to use the park. So it's not often that we are complimented for the ease of interface with the city, but this fellow did want you to know that even he was able to fill out the form and get it done. And it goes to other organizations as well, that it really, we want to see our parks used as much as they can. And I was just thrilled to see this going on.
Great. Thank you, sir. Councilor Rocha.
Mr. Mayor, the only liaison appointment I had was library board last night, and there wasn't a quorum. It was going to be a short meeting anyway, so it's been canceled and moved to probably next week or the week after. Okay. So I don't have anything, and I haven't had any run-ins with the Canby turkeys lately, so I'm okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, we will move into the consent agenda then.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the minutes of the April 1st, 2015 City Council regular meeting and the reappointment of Michael Himmelstrand to the Bike and Pedestrian Committee for a term to end on June 30th, 2018.
Second.
Motion's been made by Council President Dale and seconded by Councilor Hensley to adopt or approve the consent agenda, which include the minutes of the April 1st, 2015 City Council regular meeting and reappointment of Michael Himmelstrand to the Bike and Pedestrian Committee for a term to end on June 30th, 2018. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that is 6-0. Great. Next on our agenda is a public hearing this evening. To read our fabulous public hearing. Thank you, Kim.
I'll take a little nap here.
So tonight we have a public hearing tonight on vacating two small portions of South Berg Parkway public right-of-way that lie on the west side outside of the existing paved street and sidewalk. So that's our hearing. So I'm going to read our format for this evening. The matter presently before the hearing body requires a public hearing. All interested persons in attendance shall be heard on the matter. If you wish to testify in this matter, please fill out a yellow comment card and give it to the city recorder. These here that Mr. Jeske held up earlier. At the appropriate time, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and interest in the matter. Those people other than the applicants that are interested in testifying as either proponents or opponents, please indicate your desire to speak by raising your hands at this time. Okay. For longer presentations, proponents and opponents may buy time from one another. In so doing, those either in favor or opposed may allocate their time to a spokesperson who will represent the entire group. You may be limited by time for your presentation. The applicant will have a total of 3 minutes to speak. The proponents will be allowed 3 minutes each, and the opponents will be allowed 3 minutes each. The applicant will then have 2 minutes for rebuttal. All questions must be directed through the mayor. Any evidence to be considered must be submitted to the hearing body for public access. All written testimony received both for and against shall be summarized by staff and presented briefly to the hearing body during the staff report. Testimony and evidence must be directed toward the applicable review criteria contained in the staff report, comprehensive plan, or other land use regulations which the person believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue may preclude appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on this time. Conflict of interest. At this time, I would ask that any member of the hearing body who has a conflict of interest please indicate the nature and extent of the conflict and whether you intend to participate in or abstain from hearing the present matter. Councilor Rocha?
None.
Councilor Parker? No. Councilor Ridley?
No conflict, I'll participate.
No, sir.
Councilor Henry? No.
None.
Okay. Ex parte contact. Also, if any member of the hearing body has any ex parte contact with anyone prior to this hearing, including a visit to the site, please declare the nature and extent of which contact, the extent of such contact at this time. Councilor Rocha, any ex parte contact?
No.
No, sir.
Mine, I have had some meetings with S.R. Smith and I have toured the property, so I'm aware of all of this. Does any member of the audience have any questions for any councilor or the mayor regarding ex parte contact or conflict of interest? Great. The public hearing will be conducted as follows. We will have the staff report, questions, if any, by the hearing body or staff. Then we'll open the public hearing for testimony. The applicant, again, not more than 3 minutes. Proponents, not more than 3 minutes. The opponents, not more than 3 minutes. Rebuttal by applicant, not more than 2 minutes. I will close the public hearing, at which time we will have questions, if any, by the hearing body, and then discussion by the hearing body. A decision shall be made by the hearing body at the close of the hearing, or the matter will be continued to a date certain in the future. This will be the only notice of that date you will receive. Does anyone have any questions about the procedure of the hearing? No? Anyone out there? Great. With that, we will move into the staff report. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to make this shorter than your proceedings.
Just got to cover the bases there, Brian.
What we tried to do with this request and our notices and everything else is not to alarm people when you're vacating 2 areas of a major arterial street. This, by making it clear that this is outside of any existing street or paved sidewalk area. And so one of the most important things in understanding this is to know where it is. And staff, city manager and I have worked on this for quite some time, really in partnership with S.R. Smith, who entered into an agreement that the council was privy to clear up some land use matters. And staff had trouble figuring out exactly where this right-of-way was. Tracy Height had emailed me earlier today indicating that she wanted something that would show that better. And so I have 2 drawings. The first one showing the northern area to be vacated, basically in front of the building here where the red flags are, and then the southern area where these red flags are. And then you can see Community Park entrance on down the way. So if you want to pass those around, if you're not sure, you can see that it's near their buildings.
Thank you, Brian.
With this request, specifically the northern area that's being requested to vacate is 77 square feet, and the southern area is 2,920 square feet in size, and then attached to your report are the exhibits that show those odd-shaped areas that are slivers of the outside edge of the right-of-way boundary. And as you know, because you've done one of these recently with the Civic Building and the street that's lying underneath it, that this is a state statute-driven procedure, and that's what we follow in doing this. And the process indicates that you're to hear any possible objections tonight to the vacation, and that you should determine whether consent of the abutting benefiting owner, once the property is vacated, it goes to the adjacent property owner, which is S.R. Smith in this case, or Plantor, as the property owner. And they, of course, are in partnership with the city with the agreement to this, so of course they're not going to vacate or object to the vacation. You want to make sure that the majority of the affected property owners, and that's defined within staff report here, those within 200 lateral feet distance and 400 feet from the ends of these vacated areas, are not objecting to this, and we had no written response from the 5 property owners that the notice went out to. The only response that we obtained was a written response from Canby Utility indicating that they may actually have an electric line in the areas to be vacated, and so they're requesting that we reserve a utility easement in place of the street vacation areas. And we also got a response from Northwest Natural indicating that they also have a facility under the ground in this area and would like to have a utility easement reserved to provide continued future access to their utilities in the area to be vacated. So with that in mind, we did make a recommendation that you place a condition on this vacation that would reserve the area with a utility easement. The recommendation from staff here is that the council approve the street vacation as described in the legal descriptions and the maps that accompany the application, and that you make it part of an ordinance that is necessary to vacate a street. After you make a decision on this and it's in favor, then we'll make sure that the ordinance is recorded in the county clerk's office, and we're also to send it to the county assessor and the county surveyor so they can do map updates to reflect that the street's been vacated. Other than that, I'll take any questions you might have.
I might add just a little more, if that's all right, Brian. I'd like to take you back to December and the discussion we had and presented to you at that time a vacation and dedication agreement, which addressed both errors that had occurred on the S.R. Smith side and errors that had occurred on the city side, and this vacation and dedication agreement took kind of holistic view to trying to develop a solution that would both meet the city's needs and S.R. Smith's needs. We are very appreciative of S.R. Smith and the work that they have done, that their surveyors and engineers have done to provide the maps and the legal descriptions. We have also verified those using our own surveyors. They didn't go out and resurvey, but they looked at the legal descriptions, they reviewed the maps, and feel comfortable and confident that what has been presented is an accurate representation of the properties to be vacated. This is a multi-step process. The vacations are occurring now because they're a much more legal process. The dedication, which will result in properties coming to the city, both on Southburg Parkway Road itself and down in the parking lot of City Park, will occur as we proceed to execute all of the terms under the vacation and dedication agreement that you'd approved several months ago. We're pleased to be at this point, at this time. This part is the most technically demanding, and we actually had to send the maps back one time because of concerns about the ability to maintain, as the lot lines were drawn right directly adjacent to the sidewalks, which didn't provide Public Works an adequate space to do the work that they needed within the city's right-of-way, and S.R. Smith's engineers and surveyors redrafted those maps and with new legal descriptions and submitted them forward. So we're very pleased with the work that's been done and the recommendation to you.
So the utility easement that we're talking about, this does not inhibit this process?
No.
At all? Okay.
No,
And then-
it'll just be a condition of final approval.
Okay, and this presents really no challenges to S.R. Smith moving forward?
In fact, I've already contacted them, and they're here tonight.
Oh, okay.
I think they want to speak.
Okay. Great. Any questions at all from up here on the staff side of things?
We've had a study session on this. I believe.
Yeah, we
have.
Yeah, we did.
When did you work through it?
December.
A
Yeah.
little bit before me. Okay,
Right.
so S.R. Smith benefits because this is kind of the way it should have been all along?
Well, S.R. Smith benefits because right now they have something of a cloud on the title, because some of their improvements are on city property. The city benefits because some of their improvements are on S.R. Smith's property. And in fact, I would say in the aggregate, the city will be the greater beneficiary because a great portion of our parking lot down in the park is actually on S.R. Smith's property, and they've already offered and agreed to donate that to the city.
Great. Okay. Great. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. So at this time, I'll open up the public hearing for any testimony pieces. So anything from the applicant? Joseph, please come up. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Thank you. It's good to see you all again, and nice to meet Councillor Height for the first time. My name is Joseph Schaefer. I work as a land use planner at Jordan Ramus. I'm here on behalf of S.R. Smith and their corporate company, Plantor. I'd like to thank all the city staff. Brian and Rick explained really all the details of it. To maybe simplify it for Councillor Height, this is a land swap. You go down the street and the property lines aren't really where you'd think they'd be, so we're going to draw the property line behind the sidewalk. As Rick mentioned, we're going to move it 6 inches further back than we talked about last December, simply to give the Public Works people a little elbow room next time they need to work on the sidewalk. The utility easements will be reserved. That's standard operating procedure for a street vacation. I worked on one in Camas just this morning. There's no need to pull perfectly functional utilities out of the ground and move them in a situation like this. And just to clarify, there's sort of 3 pieces to this, and tonight you're just acting on the vacation. This piece number 2 is our dedication up along Berg Parkway of those areas up to the sidewalk that the city owns. It's kind of in our landscape beds and so forth and so on. So we're going to donate that, and we'll have a nice clean line, again, drawn essentially behind the sidewalk. The third piece being a donation, more of a traditional real estate donation down at the bottom of the hill where the parking is. And to accomplish that, we've done a lot line adjustment through the usual land use process, and that's been approved. And so the process moving forward, after tonight, presuming you vote in favor, there'll be a second reading on the 5th. And then we have, we do the deeds, you guys record the vacation, and we're done. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
That was a good recap.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joseph.
All right. Is there any proponents on the matter before us this evening? Not having any opponents to the city and S.R. Smith doing that? Okay. And there's no need for rebuttal. We'll close the public hearing. Any questions by the hearing body at all at this point?
Nope.
No, sir. No? All right. Any discussion? Any comments?
I would like to express my personal appreciation to Brian. I was fine working at an administrative level on this, but once we got into the technical aspect of this dedication, it got very technical and complex, and Brian took it and ran with it and was able to satisfy all the requirements and bring this forward to you in an appropriate manner. So I really appreciate it, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, I'll echo that as well, and I want to thank S.R. Smith for your patience as we work through this process. And so you guys are a big asset to our community, and I've said it before, every time I go to a hotel swimming pool, I check for guardrails and lift chairs, and sure enough, they are labeled and stickered with S.R. Smith. So a little bit of home with me every time I go away. So thank you guys very much. Really appreciate that. Great. Well, then we will consider this a done matter. We'll bring it up here under resolutions and ordinances. Great. Thank you, everyone. So, resolutions and ordinances. Kim.
First item we have is Resolution 1213. This is amending Resolution 1150 regarding the reference to Ordinance 1292. And this is just a housekeeping resolution. Last week, at the last meeting, the council adopted Ordinance 1413, which is the sewer use ordinance. And after it was adopted, we realized that an existing resolution had made reference to that. So this is just cleaning up that existing resolution and saying the sewer use chapter, and making reference to that instead of an individual number.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kim.
I actually had to do a flow chart for this to figure out what it really meant. Very well done.
Maybe how all that stuff tends to kind of mix and mingle over the years and
Yeah.
to unravel some of that. So I don't envy the spot to undo that raveling.
Like a motion?
I would love a motion.
I move for Resolution 1213, amending Resolution 1150 regarding the reference to Ordinance 1292.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Councilor Rucha and seconded by Councilor Hensley to approve Resolution 1213, amending Resolution 1150 regarding the reference to Ordinance 1292. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed from amending all those? No? Carries 6-0.
The next item we have is Ordinance 1414, which is before you for second reading, and it's authorizing a contract between the City of Canby and Alltech Industries, Inc. for the purchase of a model AT40-G articulating telescopic aerial device bucket truck.
Again, we heard this last meeting, just a piece of equipment we need to purchase. So, anyone want to make a motion so we can buy this wonderful piece of equipment?
I'll do it.
Thank you.
I make the motion that we authorize a contract between the City of Canby and Alltech Industries, Incorporated, for the purchase of a model AT40G articulating telescopic aerial device bucket truck.
Second that.
Great. Motion's made by Councilor Height, seconded by Councilor Coleman to approve Ordinance 1414, authorizing a contract between the City of Canby and Alltech Industries, Incorporated, for the purchase of a model AT40G articulating telescopic aerial device bucket truck for second reading here and a roll call vote.
Councilor Rocha?
Yes.
Councilor Parker?
Yes.
Councilor Hensley?
Yes.
Councilor Dale?
Aye.
Councilor Height?
Aye.
Councilor Coleman?
Yes.
Great. Councilor Height, you just bought a bucket truck.
Congratulations.
I'm going to Disneyland.
That's right.
Is that your first motion?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Thank you, though.
No. Perfect. First bucket truck. Wow.
This is true.
The next item we have is Ordinance 1415. This is vacating two small portions of Southburg Parkway public right-of-way that lie on the west side, outside of the existing paved streets and sidewalk.
Perfect. We just finished that conversation. I will gladly take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt Ordinance 1415, vacating two small portions of Southburg Parkway public right-of-way and lie on the west side, but outside of the existing paved streets and sidewalk.
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilor Hensley, seconded by Councilor Rocha to approve Ordinance 1415, vacating two small portions of Southburg Parkway public right-of-way that lie on the west side outside of the existing paved streets and sidewalk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Moving into new business, we have an update on the Northbred Development Concept Plan, and I believe that is Matilda Dees and Friends.
Good evening. It's nice to see everybody.
Good to see you as well.
I know we're on a tight schedule. I'll be very brief. I'm here basically, well, hi there, friend. I actually am here just to do introductions to our consultant who's working with the city on the North Redwood Development Concept Plan. And we're here to do an update. We had materials, I think, that distributed memos 1 through 4 to the council that sort of gives the background information. And we had a meeting last night as well. And I don't know what the viewing public knows about this project, but I can give you a little brief background of why we're doing the project and what it's about. Is that the city requires that property that's going to be annexed into the city, if it's located within a development concept plan area or development agreement area are required to have either a plan or an agreement adopted prior to the council forwarding an annexation to the voters. So this property that we're talking about, the North Redwood, 66 acres, is east of Redwood, north of 99, south of Territorial, and it's a 66-acre site, so it falls within that development concept plan area. So over the years, there have been several efforts by staff and also effort by property owners to create a concept plan. But this property is complex and has quite a few challenges attached to it. Drainage, wetlands, steep slopes, and transportation connectivity. So it has been a little bit too difficult for people to actually bring it forward on their own. So fortunately, staff was able to locate a grant that enabled the city to engage the services of consultants who have a lot of experience in creating concept plans for neighborhoods. So thanks to the Transportation Growth Management Program, which has been very good to the city, we have here this evening one of the consultants working with us, one of the primary consultants, Mike Zillis, and he's going to give you like an update today, here where we are today, just as a briefing so that you'll know how the process is going.
Great.
Take it
Thank you.
from here.
Thank you so much.
I will abandon you.
Well, stay close. So hopefully you've all had the opportunity to review some of the memos, and I know a number of you have attended the meetings. Thank you for that. I am Mike Zylos, the Walker Macy, and I'm part of the consultant team, and we are just finishing analysis work. So we've looked at the site, its characteristics. We've talked to many of the residents and owners of the property, as well as many residents and owners from adjoining areas, and we've had a lot of good input. So we've had a lot of interest in this, and as Matilda said, it's a 66-acre site. The drawing is here in the red area, and it does have some challenges, and I think it's really great that the city's been able to take this opportunity to look at it in its entirety rather than piecemeal. The objectives of the project are to provide the opportunity for a mix of residential types. So we're looking to provide lots of different opportunities to provide housing for existing and future residents. We're looking at a comprehensive multimodal transportation system, and that's a fancy word for circulation for pedestrians, bikes, and cars. And it is a challenge site, just given where the railroad is and Highway 99, some of the access points that are available to us. But we think we've got all the information we need, and now we're going to look and see how those connections can be made. A really important aspect and a benefit of this study is looking at the infrastructure in its entirety, rather than this council or future councils being asked to accept a parcel or an easement or an annexation of a parcel without an idea of how it connects in the future is really expensive for everybody. And so our idea, the concept here, is to establish a conceptual infrastructure plan, and importantly, is to look at how that will be financed. And it's not easy, because you can imagine there's 23 parcels, 18 owners. Some people will be ready to go, some people won't. And we're looking at strategies to make it fair to everyone. If the street is on your property versus someone else's, or if the park is on your property, that sort of thing. So that's a really key strategy, and we hear about it every meeting. Heard about it again last night. And it's appropriate. So that's what we're trying to achieve. The overall concept criteria is to establish a neighborhood rather than a series of subdivisions. So our goal is to really make this feel and look and act as part of your city, create a walkable neighborhood, and as I mentioned, distribute impacts and financial impacts equitably between the individual parcels, allow for different owners' timing, because we hear again every meeting that some people are ready to go, can't wait, when are we done yet? And other folks are like, I'm not even interested. So allowing that flexibility is really important. and having, really clear and concise connections to the rest of your city is key. So we've taken the community through, and it's in your packet, some concepts of what a walkable neighborhood is and what the benefits are. And we've, we've had great concurrence on the objectives of providing places that are friendly, that are safe, that are connected. We've had a lot of discussions about infrastructure specifically related to stormwater, because this is on a drainage of Willow Creek, and there are challenges of how to treat stormwater and how to circulate it. So we've talked about low-impact development strategies, which will be part of our plan. And again, we've really discussed a lot of different types of housing and allowing those to be part of the future growth of the area. There's about a 50-foot grade change across the property. So there, for those of you that have driven the perimeter, it seems like, well, it looks like a flat kind of area. It's not. And so there's some real challenges when you imagine providing access to every parcel. So we're going to be looking at that. From a natural areas perspective, we've had some scientists do a cursory review. This is not a complete review by any means, but Willow Creek is a great benefit, and it is in fairly good shape for a creek that's not been taken care of. So it's got a lot of invasive species and that sort of thing, but it flows year-round. It has adjacent wetlands that are productive, and it has great potential